Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Turn to Punk Classics, a show where we take old episodes of Turn to Punk that have been lost from the internet and return them to their previous glory by sticking them back on the feed. You can find this podcast on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all other forms of social media. Well, that's pretty much it. At Turn to Punk. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Left for Damian. I play in a band. More information can be found at fuckedup.cc. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another TOAP Classic.
It's just, we get fucking crazy.
In Backstage Passport 2, it seems like the alcohol is a bigger problem for you than coke is. Like, just like, as far as like a bigger toll on you, I imagine physically when you're on tour?
Well, no, I mean, I'm doing lines. I don't drink if there's not coke around.
Yeah.
I just want to drink. That's why that one night I was so fucked up, because they promised me there'd be coke after the show. And I'm drinking and it wasn't there, and I need some equalizer.
Yeah.
I need something to keep me a little straight. And
it's a wild...
When you see me sing that stuff, the wrong words, it's fucking...
It's amazing. Right? It's amazing because also I do that all the time, not because of alcohol or not because I can't get drugs, just because I don't know the words for some of the songs. But.
Did you see the bonus footage where I pee myself?
No, I only saw the one. The
bonus footage.
Well, there's 2 unreleased episodes on the bonus disc. And
yeah, but it's like, there's no real story, so Fuse didn't want to put it together.
Yeah.
Because we were like, we don't want to make up a story.
Yeah.
To make it work. So
which is most of those reality shows are like.
Well, yeah, no one produced it. We gave them the footage, and, they were story writers, but they said, this is what we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
And they're, so it does make sense. You just put focus on certain things.
Yeah, well, I think at that point, you're probably going through all these emotions.
Israel should have been an hour episode. Russia should have been an hour episode because there's that much good footage.
Yeah.
But we had to cut it out. But in Australia, I hurt my leg, and I'm on stage, and the bathroom is really far, and we're playing Whoops, I Would Eat. And I couldn't walk, I'm so fucked up, and I just started peeing. and whoops, I just peed, and it's just, you see it running down my leg. And peeing yourself, it's really not that bad. The problem is when you wake up in the morning and you put your shoes on,
and they're full of the puddle.
Yeah, they're all damp, and you're like, oh, right, I pissed myself.
See, I never think that's the problem with weed. The biggest problem I wake up with is a sore stomach because I ate something I shouldn't have before I fell asleep. But I guess, like Mike, I don't know if you've heard any of these before, but I start them all up the exact same way, which is it's all focused on how you got into punk rock, which is, I kind of know, because I'm a big fan.
My story is, I think, different than most.
No, but I know your story a little bit, but I definitely, if you don't mind telling it again.
Yeah.
But, so I'm going to start it off the way I always start off, which is, how'd you get into punk?
Okay, well, there's 2 different things. It's the first time you heard punk. It's the first time you go to your first punk show.
Well, I mean the first time you heard it. Like, I think the camp.
Yeah, the first time I heard it, I was at summer camp, and I was probably 11.
Yeah.
And at one of the dances, I heard 2 songs. One was Beat on the Brat with a baseball bat, and one was Who Killed Bambi.
Okay.
And it was Joe Escalante from the Vandals was a junior counselor there.
Was he a nice counselor? Because
he wasn't my counselor.
Okay. Did you have any?
He was like work crew. Okay. He was like he got to go to camp for free.
Yeah.
But he had to work.
Okay.
And I talked to him very little, but I was like, who is this? And
what year?
No. He didn't even tell me what it was. I just knew he played it.
Yeah. What year approximately would have been? Do that?
79.
Okay, so it's like, was he full into punk by this point? I guess.
Yeah.
Was he? No. When did he join Vandals? 82.
Ask him. No. Earlier than that.
Okay. Anyway, go on.
His story about how he got his drum set back from Jack from GSOL. That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Well, have you read Jack's book, American Demon?
I've read Jack's book. Yeah, it's an
unbelievable.
It's like he's one of those people that you read that and you're like, I guess good things happen to bad people.
He was absolutely
he's like a nightmare.
Yeah, and the stories I've heard that not in that book
are even scarier.
Well, Lumpy he's dead now. He was in the Vandals.
Yeah,
he was in Joy Killer, and Jack would make him clean his room at the motels every night in the morning.
Oh.
Clean your room. There's maids. Clean your fucking room.
Just on some sadistic.
And then one day he said something. Lumpy said something that Jack didn't like. Jack was driving, and he stopped the car and he went back, and he started pushing his thumbs in his eyeballs until he was screaming, crying, like he was fucking poking his eyeballs in.
Shit.
And so when you read the book, I can't confirm all the stories.
Yeah.
But the stories I can confirm from my friends
are even worse.
Yeah. Like in the punk rock movie, Punk's Not Dead, he's like, yeah, we just used to rape girls a lot. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
It's horrific.
You're a psychopath.
Well, he thought he killed someone, right? That's why he had to hide in Alaska for a while. Like he talks about it in the movie, right? And stuff. And so
anyway, so I heard these songs at summer camp. I was 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back and I went to a record store, Rhino Records, and I said to the guy, have you ever heard a song called Beat on the Brat with a Baseball Bat? And he laughed and said, that's Ramones, kid. And he gave me a Ramones cassette. And then it's funny because I loved it, but only like 3 songs.
Yeah. So,
and then I also saw a poster.
Only 3 songs on that record? You only like 3 Ramones songs?
Yeah, no, I mean I like a lot more.
Yeah, now.
But it's like a lot of them they're not as catchy.
Yeah.
Like Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue and shit like that. Or
Carbona Not Glue on the first one.
Yeah. And it's just like it's a rough listen.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, especially when you're 11 years old.
Yeah. And the only record I had before that was Rocky Horror Picture Show. And at that it was on cable because in LA you could get Z Channel, and I taped it from my TV at 10 at night. I had a little rectangular cassette player, and I just taped it, and that I listened to that record for years.
Well, and you can tell, like, you're obviously doing musicals now, and and
definitely influenced from that, and the words from Rocky Horror, "Don't dream it, be it."
Yeah,
those words stuck with me. Well, they still stick with me.
Yeah.
But even when I was like in my early 40s, I still felt like a coward because I was not living how I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm a coward. It's like I did SM and I do, cross-dress a little bit, with my wife, my ex-wife. And, but it's like, I wanted to be part of the SM scene.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to fucking live it. I wanted to do whatever the fuck I wanted to. And I was scared to.
Mm-hmm.
So those words, don't dream and be it. And now I'm in a point in my life where I do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, you're like the guy who's living it. Like
I just flying into Canada yesterday. I had a pink nightie on, and I had some pink restraints with a chain that went to my collar, and I just went through the airport and on the plane, and I don't fucking care.
What was customs like though?
They didn't care.
They didn't care?
No.
Because
I own it. I still got my combat boots on, and I don't walk. I don't have makeup on and shit.
No, but still, when you cross customs, anything to not stick out is what I'm normally trying to do.
What was funny is going to Heathrow, I wore a dress from Sweden.
Yeah.
And that was like a 90-minute customs thing.
Really?
Yeah. That just got kind of a drag.
I saw in the backstage passport too, you get stopped for the beef jerky and things like that. Have you ever had anything where cause I've heard about people going to Dubai with a little speck of weed on their feet and getting busted?
No, I've been fucked. No, I haven't been. Well, one time I went through an airport, and Goddess. I was meeting her because we were going down to the Caribbean, and she told me to put a rubber butt plug in me, and I had a cock ring on.
Yeah.
So I'm going through customs, and I beep, and they take me into the room, and the butt plug didn't show up, right?
Yeah.
But what do you have? Metal. It's a cock ring.
Yeah.
So they have gloves on, and I took it off, and they're holding this thing, leather cock ring with metal on it, and they go, well, that's it. I guess, you can go out now. And then I go out, and the guy who did it, who was holding it, he goes, hey, I'm a huge fan. Can I get an autograph?
That's awesome. So, where do you go from that Ramones tape? You like 3 songs on it, but you knew there was something about this scene.
Well, I just thought it was great.
Yeah.
And, I got into Devo and the Go-Go's and Plimsolls, and but I never saw any of these bands.
Were you listening to K-Rock? Was that kind of like your station?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
I was young.
So where were you hearing about?
I didn't hear about any of these bands.
You were just going to the store and just being like,
I know. I only had 2 records.
But why then would you go from there to Devo?
Well, this is how I started going. This is what happened after that. Because I was I didn't have a record player yet.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a little cassette player.
Yeah,
that was it. So before I started high school, was summer before high school. I was 14. My friend Eddie Mochtinger, his dad was president of ACLU for a long time.
No.
Yeah, he goes, let's go see a movie tonight. So, because, in LA, we were taking the bus when we were 8.
Yeah.
In 10, you go anywhere. So 14, to go to Westwood to see a movie, he's like, you know what? There's this band Killing Joke playing at the Whiskey. Let's go there instead. I'm like, all right. I have my polo shirt on, and I never heard it. I never been to a live show.
Yeah.
And the only punk rock I ever heard was Ramones. And we go in, there's no age limit there, and fucking Killing Joke go on.
What venue was it?
The Whiskey.
Whiskey, I don't know.
And I was like upstairs in the corner, and he got in the pit, and I was like, holy shit. It just blew my mind. This huge pit, and people beating the shit out of each other, and this music that I'd never heard before, because no one sounded like Killing Joke.
Yeah.
I was like, this is,
That's the deep end from the Ramones. That's kind of the deep end. Yeah.
And it was the most exciting, coolest thing I ever saw. And like 2 weeks later, we went back, and we saw X and the Canadian Subhumans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, because this is actually one of the few debates there's a couple debates that we keep having over the years, and one is British Subhumans versus the Canadian Subhumans.
Well, I mean, clearly the British one are better.
Canadian.
They're better.
No, Canadian is better.
They're not better.
They're better.
No, yeah, like 2 good songs.
Well, like, in a classic LP. Like,
Classic LP, but Cradle to Grave.
I do actually, and I've come around a lot. The British Subhumans are pretty fucking unbelievable, and still one of the best live bands. Like,
and stayed the same, true to their
and never, and like, they are incredible today.
Okay, they didn't blow up the place.
That's true.
But you're Canadian, so you got to go with Canadian.
I have to go
I'm
with
American,
Canadian.
So I can go with I'm non-biased.
No, you're not. That you're picking. You're like actually the only non-biased. If anything, you should reject England more because you're American. So when did you start playing music? Like, were you already like? Well, I guess like you and Aaron.
Then it took me. It was like that. Like 1981.
Yeah.
It was super not confusing, but me and my friends would go to see Oingo Boingo, Fear, Bad Religion, Missing Persons,
like I'll get
the Go-Go's, Slim Souls.
Yeah.
That guy, 8675309. What his name is?
Johnny 86.
But there was no difference.
Tommy Two Tone.
Yeah, there was no difference. We didn't really know the difference. It was like it was all new wave or punk rockers, and they were all playing the same clubs, Roxy and the Whiskey, and it was.
Were you going to any, like Hong Kong Cafe or any of the smaller clubs at this point?
I went to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Madame Wong's.
Yeah, Madame Wong's. Yeah.
Yeah. Any place. I didn't go to the Starwood or anything.
Yeah.
That's before my age. Before my time. But it was just cool, and it was. Luckily, my my parents were never around.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just go to all hours of the night to anywhere I wanted to. I can't believe I never got beat up or raped or anything.
Well, because you talked about it.
Well, that's fucking 14, 15.
Well, yeah, because you talk about in...
my stepdaughter's just turned 16.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a fucking man that go out till 2 in the morning.
Going to see Target of Demand on some show?
Oh, we went to see New Wave Theater a few times. That was cool.
Was it a cool experience?
Yeah, because you just bring in your own beer and watch all these bands play 2 songs.
That's awesome. So who were like some of the bands that were resonating with you as a kid? Like some of the local bands, I guess, like Angry Simone's were like...
No, the Dickies were the best band. They were my favorite band at the time. And Bad Religion. Mm-hmm. But at my school, Youth Brigade went there, and Sim 34.
But Youth Brigade, they're from Toronto, right? Like they moved...
No. Well, maybe originally.
Originally, they're from Forest Hill.
When they all turned punk rock, they moved. It was LA.
Okay, yeah, so...
And the Seditionaries... Like my school had 13 punk rockers in it out of 3,000 kids, but a lot of them were in bands,
and they're all awesome bands,
and they were all older than me. So it was like me and 3 other kids were like the freshman punk rockers.
So when was the first time you saw Bad Religion? Do you remember the first time you saw them, or were they just like playing all the time?
Florentine Gardens.
Yeah,
there's footage of it in some movie where all the kids, like 60 kids on stage, and shipped off.
Oh, is that like a comeback show after Into the End?
No, that was.
That's way later.
Yeah, that was great. That was before the end.
Yeah, okay. So, you mentioned going to see the Dickies. When did you start, I imagine, seeing the Oxnard, or were you going up to Oxnard to go to the
Yeah, when I turned 16.
Okay.
But I would just go to Rhino Records. I would go there once a week, take the bus there, and go through the used record section. Mm-hmm. And that's when I found all the bands. Like Misfits, Walk Among Us. Just like, oh, this looks good. Flesh Eaters. Oh, this is not good.
Wait, you don't think Flesh Eaters are good?
Oh, they're not. Well, you have no taste in music.
I have a what? Oh, this is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be awesome.
But just whatever looked punk,
yeah,
I would get. And
but you had sonic parameters where you were like this, by that, because you're talking about earlier, like you're seeing Killing Joke, you're seeing Plimsolls, you're seeing X, and you're like, this is all punk to me. But there were still bands that were like, Flesh Eater's not.
I just didn't like the record.
Oh, you just didn't like it, but it was still like you were considering it part of that world. At least.
Yeah, and I was so hungry for it because that was before I knew about Max Rock and Roll, and there's no way to find. How much to fucking find out about good music?
Yeah, that's true. Like, well, were you checking out? Is there K-Rock? You know, you hear about Ronnie on the Block and stuff.
I would listen. I started listening to K-Rock every Sunday.
Yeah,
and that's when I discovered Descendants and DI.
What about music magazines? Some people I talk to say Cream and stuff like that. Were you ever into that stuff or not at all?
No. I had like 3 friends were into punk.
Yeah,
we'd go to the record stores and we'd each buy. Like, I remember one time I bought the Augusta front 7-inch.
Really?
Yeah, and my friend got the white from Richmond.
Oh, White Cross.
White Cross.
Yeah.
We'd each buy one.
Yeah.
And we were collectors, and then we'd all tape them from each other.
Yeah.
But we never would buy the same record. You know.
Wow. I think in retrospect, you made out pretty good if you saw that AF 7. It's just like $1,000 record now.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I bought Misfits. I bought Bullet for $2.99.
Did you keep all your stuff? Did you keep
Yeah, I sold a couple. I sold Antidote, and I sold a couple of Misfits 7-inches.
When did you sell the Antidote? Like recently, or
no? I was in college.
Okay.
$100. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that's maybe the best punk 7-inch ever.
It's really New York Antidote. That's your favorite, one of your favorite punk 7-inches. That's so awesome. You're talking.
Daryl, you got a beer or something? Anything?
I'll get you a beer. I didn't bring any liquor up here. There's a bunch of girls here.
Oh.
Get your glass of water first, and I'll leave the beer over.
Or anything, buddy.
What's the time check like? I got a bunch of hot girls standing outside. Normally they go like an hour.
Do they can. We don't care.
They want to hear us talk about punk rock and stuff. That's fine. Yeah. Sure. I'll let them know. So I guess we were at a point. When did you start playing? Like NOFX forms before Smelly joined, right?
Yeah. Well, I started a couple of bands. I had a band called False Alarm.
Okay.
And
no one recorded, right? None of these.
No, it was a demo. Max Rock, I'll give us a share review.
That demo is that circulated at all?
I don't think so.
No,
someone put it out. I don't know. It's terrible.
Okay.
It was our first recording. We played one show, one party.
Who else played? Do you remember?
No, it's just us.
Okay.
There's like 40 people there, and we got a show at the Anti-Club with Blitzkrieg, and Youth Got Wild, and our drummer's mom wouldn't let him go, so.
You couldn't play?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, we couldn't even drive.
Yeah.
We were 15.
Yeah. It's hard when you're that age and you want to be involved, but you just don't have the means yet because you're just coming up.
And so, I met Smelly. I had a Black Flag skateboard. He was impressed. We met outside of a show. We started talking, became friends. But he lived like an hour from me, and I got a band with this guy named Dylan, and he started a band with Eric Melvin, and he said, I know a bass player. This guy, it's False Alarm.
And that was how it all came together.
Yeah, and then we only played like 2 parties, and then we got Smelly in the band. And that was like 83.
Yeah. So and then it's like 2 years later, you do the first 7-inch on Mystic.
Yeah.
Right, so what happened in those 2 years? Just playing local shows?
No, parties? We demoed at Spinhead Studios. You know, that's the Little My Child.
Yeah. That's from that.
Yeah, the guy from Sin 34. We demoed all that, and actually, the drummer for the Germs,
Don Bowles.
Yeah, he produced it.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he came by. He said, "If you guys give me gas money,
I'll produce your record."
Yeah.
Were you like a fan of Vox Pop and like Silver Chalice or any of those bands?
No, just the Germs.
Just the Germs.
And Smelly was in Caustic Cause, which they did some things too.
Oh, are they in a comp? Caustic Cause?
Yeah, lots of comps. So we started, and we're terrible. I really do feel that we're the most improved band
of all time.
Yeah,
I love those first records.
Well, that's because you have no taste in music.
Well,
you like everything.
No, I don't. There's a lot of stuff I don't like.
That's a Little My Child. That's terrible.
I think that's the thing about it. The energy comes off, and that first taste that came out was on one of those CD comps in the '90s. That was like $30 when I bought it at HMV, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this NOFX song?"
Well, the thing is, I really think we were, of all the bands around in that time, we were the worst one.
Well, I was going to ask you,
none of us knew how to play. I mean, I was just like, we need to start this band. I'll buy a bass. And no one taught me how to play. And
so you're completely self-taught? You never had any lessons at all? Nothing. That's awesome.
that's why I play with upstrokes.
Yeah.
Because no one ever showed me how to play. And luckily I did, because I wouldn't have written that bass line for Decline.
Yeah.
Because you have to be an upstroke player.
And I imagine now there's an entire generation of upstroke players based on watching 10 years of fucking up.
Just Joe from Rise Against.
Well, I think that's a perfect example right there. So I wanted to ask you, did you guys fall into that nardcore scene? Were you playing with those nardcore bands?
Well, we became a nardcore band in '86 because Eric and Eric moved there.
Okay.
I was in San Francisco, but not before then.
Not before then?
We were big Ill Repute fans. We used to cover an Ill Repute song. We used to cover Impact Unit song.
Boston Impact Unit?
Yeah. We used to,
Sticky Barrett from the
we
Boston
used to do,
band.
the Boston Strangler song.
That's fucking awesome.
We used to cover...
So you were really well versed in all, you were just because you talked to a lot of people, and we were pre-internet.
We're hardcore.
Yeah, but
kids.
But you're
we
hardcore.
covered a Neo song. No one fucking covers a Neo
I want to
song.
get into the Neo's cover because that is recorded too.
Yeah, I know.
Uncredited, I might add.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And we would cover, FUs. Just hardcore bands.
That's
because
awesome.
we're a hardcore band. We're still a hardcore band.
Yeah.
We're a melodic hardcore band.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is. People call us pop punk. Fuck you. We're not. There's nothing to do with that. Not lyrically. I mean, most of our songs, like Punk Rock Elite and stuff, those are fucking hardcore songs.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow New York started playing metal, and that got deemed hardcore. But it's not. It's metal.
But there was I was going to say, because you are, I remember
Black
reading,
Flag, maybe the first hardcore band.
I've also read you talk about the Melvins not being a punk band because they're too metal.
Yeah, they're like Black Sabbath.
But to me,
And last time I saw Buzz, a couple years ago, he was like, "Hey, Mike, you still playing punk rock?" Like, really, Buzz? Sorry if we're successful and you're not.
Well, no, but hey, this is to me, it's amazing because I feel blessed that I'm able to like both of your bands. But
I like the Melvins, okay?
Yeah, no, but because I thought you hated them.
No, I hate them.
Oh, okay.
We played with them when they were banned for 4 months.
Yeah.
Chris Novoselic was their roadie.
Yeah.
But, no, it's just...
And they were super fast then, too. They had some faster songs.
A little bit, but he's just so bitter that they were the band that really invented that sound, and then Nirvana did it 100 times better.
No, I bet. Oh, whoa! This is we can just go down to debate, but I don't want to start putting my opinion in because there's so many questions I want to ask you. But
Nirvana changed everything.
Nirvana did change everything.
Before that, the only hope we had, we never had hope making money.
Yeah.
No hope. Impossible. If you're a punk band in the 80s, there was no band you could look up to that was making a living. Nobody.
Bad Religion? No.
No, they weren't. No way.
Not till later.
They didn't do it till 89. 88 is when Suffer came out, and they sold 10,000 copies.
I guess, Husker doing the replacements, I guess, would be the closest, right? Maybe?
Maybe, but
yeah.
They were, by that time, they were playing fucking total pop.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't punk.
Well, Candy Apple Grey is one of my favorite records. So.
Yeah, but it's just it's pop.
Yeah, it's definitely...
We're all playing hardcore.
It's definitely...
Even Bad Religion, it's hardcore.
So at which point did... we're
and Nirvana, Faith No More is the first band where I heard a song, and I'm like, oh, this is alternative. I've never heard anything like this. And I'd seen Faith No More at the New Method Warehouse in front of 20 people. So they came out of the punk scene.
Absolutely. And Chuck was in that band, the original singer,
yeah.
right?
And when I heard Real Thing, I'm like,
yeah,
finally something is good on the radio.
So is that... So did everything change for you when Nirvana happened too, you guys?
Yeah, we were on tour. We were doing the Longest Line tour.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was listening to that record. And from then on, that's when we kind of got good. It was Longest Line. That's when I think our first record.
I love everything, but I think that's where there's a change. The Sonic is where NOFX is.
It's when I sing okay.
Yeah,
because Ribbed and SM Airlines would be really good if I sang a little bit on key, but I'm so off. But Ribbed is an original sounding record.
Yeah,
that's when we defined our sound.
Nathan from Waves and I were going to do a whole cover record of just Ribbed.
Yeah, we just did a live version.
Really?
Yeah, we recorded for an album.
I've never seen you do that. I've seen you do Punk and Drublick live. I've seen
we did all live.
Define live. I've never seen you do that.
And tomorrow, Longest Line.
Are you doing Longest Line tomorrow?
First time.
I never knew that.
You never played it before.
That is fucking awesome. Oh, I'm so stoked.
I'll show you something that will blow your mind.
All right.
I'm gonna release it, but I haven't really figured out how to
put it out there yet.
Yeah, I just got a Tumblr account. I got to figure it out. Let me show you this, dude.
Okay. Pause it.
Pause it.
Especially now, people just want to see that kind of stuff. So when did you meet Doug Moody, and what was he like? Because he's such a weird character in punk.
The Cafe de Grand, we were there twice a week.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, $1 night. 5 punk bands for $1.
You had to go.
So we are always there. Exploited one. We saw their ones for $1.
Wow.
Shit like that. I remember once I was at the cafe. I think we were watching Unity or some punk band. Not a lot of people there. And I'm with my girlfriend Tisha at the time. And she looks over to her right, and Ian McKay was standing there. And she went, ah! I started screaming. And he was like, please stop.
Well, they were a huge band on the West Coast. They had footage of them on the Flipside video. They're playing to like 1,000 people.
I was at that show.
That is a crazy show.
Those are the few bands I got to see. I got to see the Misfits 3 times, SST twice, and they only played the West Coast twice. And Mind Threat.
Wow.
See Mind Threat.
That's awesome. So were there any bands that you on the East Coast that you would obviously like Impact Unit maybe or FUs or FUs?
FUs stayed at my house.
Yeah, they made out there, right? Yeah,
they stayed at my house. And Reagan Youth stayed at my house, and I mastered their first album with them.
You did?
Yeah.
Are you credited on that record as a master?
No, I didn't master it.
Oh.
I took them to Capitol.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and they didn't have a ride. And they mastered it in mono.
Okay, yeah.
Not the New Red Archives one.
The original pressing, yeah.
Which, I don't know if you know the difference, but
it's like a giant fold-out poster sleeve.
It's amazing sounding. Yeah. Because it's just amazing sounding.
So did you, at this time, did you ever come across America's Hardcore? That's always...
Oh, I saw them.
They're
amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. For the guy...
He killed himself.
And one of the dudes from Crucifix was in it or something?
No, it's Drew Bernstein was in America's Hardcore. He was voted biggest asshole of the year in Flipside 2 years in a row.
Oh, is that from the... Did you guys reference that?
Yeah.
Voted biggest asshole.
Yeah. And then he joined Crucifix.
Yeah.
And that's my first punk rock show, Blowjob. We were watching Crucifix, and I was getting a blowjob under this table.
Wow. Cool. Dehumanization.
Yeah. All right. And then Drew Bernstein started Lip Service.
Was it screen printing? Did you also screen printing?
He started Lip Service. Fucking Lip Service.
Yeah.
And
because
and he killed himself last year.
He did last. Holy shit! I had no idea he killed himself. Because he also, Sean, who runs Rockers NYC, he took him in as a kid, and I think he went and roadied for you guys for a while.
Black dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were besties, and we drove up to San Francisco together.
Yeah.
To see Eastern Front, and we stayed at Drew's house, and I didn't know him that well, but
yeah,
America's Hardcore, amazing,
incredible band.
I wish I could find the demo. I put it on 5 records.
Apparently, someone told me this has been a legend for years. That there's actually test presses of an LP that Mystic did that just never got circulated.
So good.
So were you like? Was he?
And the singer Danny, he got in a fight with some guy, and it was terrible to watch. He already beat the guy up, and he took a metal chair and just beat him and beat him and beat him
shit.
Until he was just like unconscious mess. That was LA.
Yeah,
that was just standard. Just you try to stay away from it.
Have you seen I want to get back to that in one second. Have you seen that movie Made? The Vince Vaughn, John Favreau movie. In the first scene, Vince Vaughn's wearing an America's Hardcore shirt because one of the guys from America's Hardcore is a set dresser in Hollywood now, and gave him the shirt. And when you watch the audio commentary track, Vince Vaughn talks about the shirt on the audio commentary. Anyway, digression. You bring up the violence that was going on at that, and I remember when you did that Cokie the Clown performance, you talked some insane, horrific stories about stuff you saw back then.
Yeah, I've written songs. Songs
in referencing.
Now. I mean, the violence, it's hard to imagine in punk rock now, because it wasn't like that anywhere in any other scene. It was just LA.
Yeah.
And you never knew when you were going to get killed. And I sang in one band. I was in one band for a while, and our singer got shot 5 times, 5 shots. He lived.
Yeah. At a show? He was shot?
No.
Outside of a show?
He was suicidal. And
wow.
This black dude. Fucking huge black dude. Really nice guy. Took 5 bullets, lived.
Wow.
And how I got out of stuff, that's why I really do believe that there is some kind of charm on my life, or someone's looking out for me. Because, I have so many dead friends. And I always got out of things.
Mm-hmm. I remember in an interview I read, you talked about your friend being stabbed at a Dickies show.
Yeah.
It seems like that would be the last band on Earth you think would have that. Was it almost every band?
And Pat Smear and another guy from Vagina Dentata at the time, they almost got beat up by suicidals.
What?
Luigi, who was in Suicidal, the bass player, he was the only guy I kind of knew. Mm-hmm. And they were going after them. I saw this group, they were walking towards him because they were in the parking lot. And I was like, hey, Luigi, what's up? He's like, these fucking guys over here. And I was like, just Pat Smear from the drums. And he's like, oh. So
wow. So it's just like people that weren't recognized type thing, not local.
Yeah, all we said is, where are you guys from? Mm-hmm. And we said from Hollywood. And my friend, I knew a lot of suicidals. I was asked to join. My friend Bruno told the guy, said, hey, you guys, this guy's with me. He's good. You know, Eric and I'll do their shirts. Don't fuck with these guys. Mm-hmm. And they stabbed my friend in the lung. So
that's when you decided to move up to San Francisco, I guess, at that point?
Yeah, I was really like, I don't want to quit punk rock.
Yeah.
But this is getting ridiculous.
Had you been out of LA and seen that there were other scenes that were different?
Yeah, I was 16, I went to Italy.
Oh wow, did you see shows in Italy?
Yeah.
Did you see like Raw Power and Negazione?
No, I saw I Refuse It.
What?
Juggernaut and the Penguins at a basement show in Firenze.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because my dad, he did business there.
Yeah.
And being, he was a shitty dad, he goes, I want to take you to Europe with me. I'm like, oh, cool. NOFX were together for like 4 months.
Yeah.
But this is his trip. He took me to Florence for a week. He worked every day.
And you had
I said, have fun.
Yeah, wander around this strange city.
But I ran into an old girlfriend, which is crazy. And I had my Max Rock and Roll. This is awesome. I brought my copy of Max Rock and Roll, and I looked through it, and someone lived in Firenze.
In the classified section, or just in like the scene report?
The scene report. And I found it. I went to his door, and I knocked on his door at like 3 p.m. He's like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Mike. I'm a punk rocker from America.
Saw you doing this.
And he goes, come on in. And, you know, I taped records. He played me a bunch of cool Italian bands. And he goes, you got to come see my band tomorrow night. We're playing a basement.
What band was he in?
He was in I Refuse It.
He's the guy from I Refuse It? That single's
Stefano
amazing.
Bettini.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was how cool punk rock was back then.
See, and I always thought, you know, you guys had an adversarial relationship with Max Rock and Roll because of I'm Telling Tim. But, like, you got along with Tim really well.
Yeah, but you do realize that Fat Records is the only label
that never got banned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I knew that. Yeah.
And Tim, before he died, he told Martin, he goes, don't ever ban Fat Records unless they do something to a major or something.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of that. I really am.
Well, that's and that magazine, did that going places, you know, you mentioned how Nirvana changed everything. You know, that magazine must have helped being in that magazine, getting around there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you guys for this, but I used to book all our tours.
Yeah.
I'd go down to Mission District and buy a stolen credit con card number, and I'd spend like 4 or 5 hours in a telephone booth.
Just booking tours. One band I forgot to ask you about really quickly back in LA.
There's one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
He said, had I ever been anywhere?
Yeah.
I took 2 road trips to San Francisco.
Okay, so you went up there and you saw the scene there.
Yeah, and it was just awesome.
Yeah.
When I moved up there, that's when all the skinheads were there. Mm-hmm. And that was, it wasn't as scary as LA still.
Yeah, it's not the gangs in LA.
Yeah, and that's when I stayed at Squats. And,
did you live at the Bats or anything? Or?
No, I stayed out.
Okay.
I went out with some girl up there, and actually one of the girls who went to my summer camp, Skalani, was in the punk scene.
Oh, that's awesome.
She got beat up so bad by this gang called DMR, this girl gang, that she quit the punk scene.
Wow, that's horrible, that part of the story, I guess. But
I've never seen such bad violence against women.
Was that in San Francisco? That was in San Francisco, right? Well, you hear that the DC scene, too. There was that woman that ran the main skinhead gang in DC that everyone's terrified, that everyone talks about, like just a brutality. And I guess it just anytime someone's vicious.
Well, DC, I mean, Brian Baker's told me so many times, he's like, dude, we'd go to New York just to beat up people.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, we all PC, but we all wanted to fucking fight.
Yeah. Well, they were jockey dudes. It was like a more jockey, tough, like American-y type scene. I don't know, not to disparage your country or anything, but what about Scared Straight? Did you ever see those guys?
Yeah, we toured with them.
You toured with Scared Straight?
Yeah.
Wow. And you know, like, the connection between because you also toured with Subculture a couple years later.
Yeah.
And you know...
In 85, we toured with Scared Straight and Entropy and the Grim.
Wow, so is that your first tour with Scared Straight?
No, our second. No, third. But what was interesting about that tour, and I don't know if this has ever happened before. Okay? I go to college. Mm-hmm. We'd done our big first U.S. tour.
Yeah.
And then we were going to go on tour on Christmas break. But we didn't have a drummer then. And Eric Melvin made some friends as high school. Mm-hmm. So he got a singer and a drummer for NOFX. And we booked a tour. So, we have 2 new members. I've never met them.
Even before the tour starts, you never met them?
We went on tour without rehearsing. And I've never met these 2 guys. I don't think that's ever happened.
No, I don't think that's ever happened.
Ever as a band.
Maybe in like a boy band or like a major label rock band, I could see that. But like,
no, they would have rehearsed.
That's right. They probably would have had to rehearse.
We didn't rehearse. We just show up at the first show. And I'm like, nice to meet you, Dave. Scott.
How'd you work on a set list? Was it just through like telephone?
Well, Melvin and those guys.
Yeah, at practice.
So they learned the songs. And then we play our first show and we're playing with the Grim, Entropy, and Scared Straight. And, when you're in a band, you think you're good.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, we're good. But even then, we're like, man, all these other bands are better than us. And we never practiced before. And our singer was so nervous, he just stand there, like, didn't even move. He never sang for band.
Yeah.
Right? It was his first show ever.
It was his first show too?
Ever. He never sang for band before.
Why did Melvin think this?
He was a coke dealer and
a friend.
Anyway, it was so weird. People who we knew were like, who are these guys?
Because you'd already been through some of these places too.
Yeah. And like Texas, we were headlining a show at the Twilight Room.
Yeah.
Fuck. And we were so bad that the crowd turned on us, and the skinheads, and the owner had to bring out a shotgun. And he shot at the roof. Everyone get out of here.
Did you guys ever record any? Did that lineup record?
That lineup never recorded because our singer, we got home and he got in a car accident and died right away.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
Weird car accident. Just in a nice neighborhood. He just kind of turned over his truck, and no one called. He was there for like 2 hours. So,
wow.
So he died. If someone would have called the ambulance,
you would have been safe.
Okay. But we were going to kick him out anyway. So
wow, that's a horrific story. But I guess that's why also probably that lineup never played at the NOFX anniversary show. Right. We had all the different lineups come through.
But it was like we went on tour, never met each other, and we were fucking terrible.
What did the other bands think?
Because our first tour, I sang.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this other guy's singing.
What did the other?
And he didn't say a word between songs, which unlike me.
What did Scared Straight and Grim think? Were they like, "What are you guys doing"?
I don't know. It was so weird.
But like Brian Walsby, the drummer of Scared Straight, formed a band with the singer of Subculture called Double Negative that I think you would probably fucking dig.
That's when we were on the freeway and we got hit by a truck.
Okay.
Truck driver fell asleep.
And just took your...
Just bashed our van.
That's in 10 Years of Fucking Up. You talk about that, right? So, when does Vasil?
Colossal Wassel Records.
Colossal Wassel, that's it.
A wassel's a party of drinking.
Is that your label?
Yeah, that's my label.
Okay, so but that's a precursor to Fat. You did the 7-inch, and the 12, the liberal animation. Yeah. Who was that band, Drowning Roses?
Oh, it's a German band that. How we got to Europe is Adolescence had a tour. Uh-huh. This guy booked it with Drowning Roses, and Adolescence canceled. And we've been calling the guy asking for a tour for like a year. And he goes, I just had a tour. They canceled, so I'll give you their slot. And he'd seen us play at Gilman Street. This guy, Dolph, from Trust Magazine. And he'd seen us play, and we got out there, and we played our first show. And he's like, I thought you guys were a lot better.
That's Europe, right? That's your first taste of the European honesty, I guess, right?
And he got in a fight with our guitar player right away. and we were terrible. And we did so badly that we started having Drowning Roses headline because they were better. It was so harsh. And Dave Pollock, who books us now, he said he was at the same show at Gilman Street. Uh-huh. Him and Dolph were totally drunk and had a good time at our show. And he goes, I want to put your records out here. So we sent him our new record, Humor So You Can Suck on This.
Yeah.
And he wrote back, he goes, I'm sorry, but I no longer want to put your record out. I know I said I did, but then I heard it.
I heard it, now I can no longer back this band. My friend's band,
messed up.
My friend's band went to Europe the first time, and people bought their 7 inches before they played, and after they were done, they were like, I want to return this. You don't have to give me your money back.
I just want to
give it back to you because I don't like your band. Well, Mike, I could go on forever, but I won't. We'll move on quicker. That's S&M Airlines on that single, right? The split. But that's when I've heard you say that's your first good song.
Yeah,
that's when you guys think.
Yeah, that single. It's not a very good version, but I think that's my first good song.
So and there was a shift there,
that was my first hint into that I'm into BDSM.
S&M. And I went to ask, was that for, and also I guess PMRC can suck on this, has kind of an S&M feel to the sleeve too.
It's from my magazine.
Oh yeah, so were you into S&M at this point, or is it still just playing with the idea of using it?
I did stuff with my girlfriend, but I mean, it's my sexuality.
Yeah,
which people don't believe, and I don't know if they ever will, but my sexuality is just as valid as being gay, and it's just as genetic. And there's no way to ever prove that. They'll never put K for kinky in with the GLBT transgender. But I would look at there's cars, there's cops. I used to look at
urban reality.
I used to look at my mom's porno magazines or her boyfriend's.
Yeah.
She had one called Cocks and Cunts. Pretty graphic, just like people fucking.
Yeah.
And Penthouse and Hustler, and I didn't get a boner.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. And I read a story in Penthouse Variations about a guy being submissive to his wife. And I got like my first full boner, and it's the first time I jerked off. And it was like, when you're fucking 11 or 12, nothing happened to me in my life where that would be a turn on for me. I was a neglected kid, whatever. I kissed frills. There's no trigger. Yeah. I was never punished.
Yeah.
Nothing. But I'm more comfortable being in a submissive role sexually. I like for women to fucking ravage me and bondage and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't. It's some nature, but it's some nurture. It's a little bit of both, like everything else.
Well, human sexuality is you. If you could choose what you were into, I'm sure a lot of people would make different choices than what they've been given. And I think maybe now we're in an era where people are becoming a little more accepting of it.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm so out now.
Well, were you? Because that's what I was going to say. Were you out then? Like, were you?
No, I was so scared. I was doing it.
Yeah.
Since I was 18, I'd been doing bondage and whippings and all that kind of shit. I wouldn't date a girl if she wasn't into that. And and I have regular just missionary sex as well.
Yeah,
but
it's something different.
Yeah, and I've been with Soma for 6 years, and it's always something new. Like, we never repeat. It's always something fucking new. It's crazy. She's got such an imagination, and we always talk about crazy shit. And me and my ex, we had a dungeon in our house. That my kid didn't know about because it's a secret.
How do you have a
secret dungeon?
I need to build a secret room for all the records I don't want my kids to see. I'll tell you how, because
we bought a house that was built in 1931, and there was a room for Prohibition.
Yeah.
There was a secret.
A rum room.
Yeah, but really secret. There was a cabinet, opened a small stairway, and then you have this killer awesome room at the top of the house that no one would know was ever there. So, yeah.
The one thing I will say about S&M Airlines is there's kind of that introduction of more metal-y leads on that stuff.
Yeah, we had a guitar player that could play a little bit.
The licks and stuff. And that seems to be something that... Were you ever in conflict with them, being such a punk person? Or do you like metal at all? Or
actually, no. I like Ride the Lightning, okay?
Yeah.
But I just heard Kill 'Em All the other day. Wow, it's so terrible. It's amazing how terrible that record is. I had friends that used to play me Exodus. And,
you're in the Bay Area, too, when that stuff's happening.
Yeah, and I was just like, listen, it's like punk. I'm like, no, it's fast, but it's terrible. It's stupid. So, not into that.
So when you move up to San Francisco, you play, the Farm, New Method Warehouse, and stuff like that. Did you ever? Were you like seeing Neurosis, playing with Neurosis, playing with?
We used to play with Neurosis all the time.
Yeah, playing with those bands.
Violet, Coercion, which is my band before that.
Yeah.
Christ on Parade, we used to play with them a lot.
So was that like? How did you guys go over in that scene? Because it seems like a lot more serious.
We never went over well. I mean, nobody liked us anywhere. Really, I mean, we could not draw 50 people anywhere.
Could you draw better in Europe before you could draw in America, type thing, or no?
No, our first European tour was terrible. No one liked us. I mean, the thing is, we were really bad. We were a bad band. I mean, like RKO was putting out Rock and Roll Nightmare, and we're putting out Liberal Nation. It's like SNFU, like SNFU and RKO were the two bands that we were like, these guys are so much better than us. We'll never get that good.
Bring up RKL, because that's a band I really want to talk to you about.
But Bad Religion put out Suffering in '88.
Yeah.
And that was when everything changed for me. I'm like, right, duh. I grew up in LA. This is good punk rock. Good melodic hardcore punk rock. And then I listened to that record probably 100 times, figured out how to do harmonies.
And that's when you added the harmonies from Bad Religion? Is it?
Yeah.
Misfits have harmonies, though. But I guess they're more like...
harmonies. They have woes.
Woes, so you're
right.
Not a
harmony.
You're right. With RKL, was that a band you guys played with? Like, they were heroes to you, I guess.
Yeah, we played them.
And stuff, but you would have played with
them. I used to roadie for them. I used to drive around.
Yeah, like, why do you think they never caught on in a bigger...
They got huge in Europe. It's just they were such fuck-ups. I mean, I think they're the only band in the world, when they were doing one of their records, Bomber was a street hustler, so he used to suck cock to make money to buy crack. And Jason had two prostitutes working for him. They'd be on the street so he could get money for heroin. So the band had an actual prostitute and a pimp in the band while they were recording on Epitaph. And I don't think this ever happened before.
No.
And Bomber was just so funny about doing that. He's like, hey, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to suck a few cocks, make some money. And he was just so open about it. It was fucking hysterical. Wow. He was the first guy to come in our scene that came out.
Yeah. And
then his boyfriend won the $50 million lottery. And bought him a condo on the beach. Doing good, but he had a crystal meth problem. The doctor said he had a small heart attack. If you do crystal meth again, you'll probably die. And 6 months later, he tried it again and he died.
Wow.
And Bomber was the biggest musical genius I've ever met. Absolutely fucking genius.
Do you still think they were probably the greatest band to kind of come out of the nardcore kind of...
Oh, yeah. I mean, NOFX would be here if it wasn't for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, but you can't live like they did. They would always bring acid to Europe to sell. They put stickers on their amps, and there'd be a sheet of acid on the stickers. And they're all junkies and just crazy. The guys were that crazy, and they were that good.
Mm. Well, another band that had insane, terrible stuff kind of come out of their legacy is Fang, and a band that dealt with acid, I guess.
I played in Fang.
You were in Fang?
I was a 32nd bass player. 32nd member in Fang. I played one party with them in Philly.
Like, early on?
Joe was getting a tattoo. So
so you had to go?
Yeah. No, we were hanging out. We used to do shows with them all the time.
Yeah.
And they go, Mike, can you just fill in tonight? I'm like, all right, I'll try.
Because there's that story in Give Me Something Better where you talk about running into him at a party after he gets out of jail and being like, I can't be your friend. It's like, am I an asshole?
I go, I can't talk to you. I'm
an
asshole for life because I killed my girlfriend. I was like, well, yeah.
So do you think in punk rock, like, what do you think brought all these troubled people, obviously broken home situations, various things, but like, then there are people like yourself and not saying that you don't still party, but have a good time, but you figured a way to kind of do it.
Well, I didn't try drugs till I was 32.
Probably at what?
And, went to college, never ditched school, always did well. And I was a responsible guy. All the guys in NOFX, potheads, doing acid, and somebody was a junkie for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for me, we would have broken up for sure. I held everything together. And just, it needed to be that way.
And then at 32, you felt like you kind of surrendered some of that, I guess?
Well, I'm like, me and my ex were like, well, we're millionaires now. Everything's going really well. Why don't we try drugs? But, that's what we're going to tell our kids.
Yeah.
Like, don't do drugs until, especially, your brain develops till you're 28. And I didn't know that at the time. But my mom always said, you're too smart, Michael. Don't do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
As she's fucking smoking joints. You shouldn't do drugs. And I didn't.
So you never got into weed even? Or not at all?
I tried weed when I was 21, but I don't really consider that
a drug,
doing drugs because I didn't like it. And I did acid once, but that's like kind of experimenting. I did it once. It was great. I actually started using drugs regularly when I was 32. But I tried coke at 32. I tried ecstasy at 34. That's late.
That is late. Well, then I still have time. Actually, I'm past those dates now, so I can't get into it. But did you ever have, because I guess you never had punk rock guilt stuff, because you've always been, at least from the outside, what I've read, kind of okay with success and finding success in punk rock.
Well,
as long as you do it ethically.
Well, yeah, I haven't, any band on Fat Records, any band, any person, no one will say they got fucked up. They got fucked over. No one.
That's true. It's like the only
because you can't fuck over one person ever, because then you have a reputation. You ruin all the fucking good things you've done. So that's why I never lie, and I never. I'm really honest and wouldn't fuck anybody over. I've lost tons of money on bands. Even I could, legally, I could make my money back or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't want anyone talking shit about me.
Is that what it is? It's kind of like you think in punk rock, it's ultimately your reputation is what?
Yeah, my reputation means everything to me. and what's funny is that I'm known as such an asshole in circles because I think I'm successful and happy. Mm-hmm. And punk rockers don't like that.
Well, you also have a very different sort of interaction with fans sometimes. I think. And that comes in backstage passport.
I don't think so. It's
the amount of Mexican kids that wanted to punch you in the face.
Yeah, I never met there before.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like from maybe not many people that know you necessarily, but I'm saying like from the outside.
No, I mean you can be a capitalist and make money without fucking anybody over. But there's just so many people that aren't like that. Mm-hmm. But that's why bands keep coming back to us. Face to Face are coming back. Less Than Jake came back. Yeah. Lots of bands come back because they're like, you're the only label that we ever made any money on.
Actually, Mike, funny you bring up Less Than Jake. When Vinny was on this podcast, he told me that he actually tried to get on Fat Records before. Yeah. He got a form rejection letter back saying, "Don't ever call us again."
No, it never said "Don't ever call us again."
He said there's a box that he said. This is from him, episode 30.
Yeah, well, tell him to show it.
Okay.
I never listen to all those things anyway.
No, okay. I
only listen to bands when someone I know says, "Listen to this band."
Mm-hmm. Well, and actually, speaking of listening to the band, did you pick the bands on the label? Like, did you know the sound that you wanted these bands to have?
I picked every band.
Every band. And
but a few bands, like Against Me, I hadn't heard. Someone brought them to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I love this. But no one signed the band.
Mm-hmm. Did you get the Fat Records package that Fucked Up sent? Way back when they were until you listen to it?
Yeah.
Fucking Floyd.
You may give it to me. I wouldn't have signed you guys any of your songs for too long.
This is back when you liked us, Mike, when we were supposed to do a split together. Remember that? South by Southwest?
Yeah, why are your songs so fucking long?
Well, because there was a little record called The Fucking Decline, and it happened to change all of our lives when it came out.
Yeah, but
in the late 90s.
All the parts are interesting.
Well, ours, let me tell you.
Hey, I like your band.
Doing okay.
I like your band. I mean, cool songs, but I like. 2.5 minutes is how long a song should be.
Well, then let's jump ahead.
Did you see that symphony thing? The Decline Symphony?
No, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that?
No.
Have you seen that? It makes me cry every time.
Well,
a 50-piece French orchestra did Decline. It took me 6 months to figure it out. It's fucking amazing.
That's incredible. Well, because I will say...
I didn't even know about it.
Can you YouTube it?
Yeah.
Right now, we'll pause.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, we can... Well, afterward, we can do it. But we'll wrap up soon, I promise.
No. I just, spending as much time away from my club spot.
Okay.
So I'm in my club.
Okay. Well, I promise we'll wrap up.
It's still good.
The nerdity will be over soon.
But I saw this thing. Some guy says, you should check this out. And it's amazing. And I was so sad because I wish my mom or any of my parents were around to see it. Because how many bands have fucking a 50-piece orchestra done one of your songs? Well, without money, we didn't hire anybody. And it took them 6 months.
But that Decline, if that was in any other genre of music, that would be heralded as like an achievement of modern music, I think. It's just because it was in punk rock that it wasn't regarded the same way.
That's why I been so working on this musical so hard, because I'm not regarded by anyone outside of punk rock.
Mm-hmm. But I think you will be.
I will be after this.
I think it's like one of those things where, but it's also like, when people go back and cut to what NOFX was, and it's like this incredible catalog of awesome songs that are, this song Decline pushes that to the most extreme point. And where did the idea for that come from?
Well, just Cradle to the Grave by the Subhumans. I always thought that was great.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do something like that. And it was a lot of parts that I had left over. I went through all my old tapes. Oh, this is cool. I never made this into a song. So I started to put them together, and I just obsessed, and I just tried to make it better and better and better and better. Even when it was done, it was about to get pressed, and I said, "Stop the presses. I need to put in this keyboard part at the end." You know, that da-da-da, and I made the ending more interesting, and the bell. And the manager at Fat Records yelled at me. Yeah.
Really? Because he was like, it's not punk? Or
he's like, it's coming out. It's going to fuck up everything. I'm like, dude, this is my art. It's like, I just thought of a cool part that's not in there.
Yeah.
And after he yelled at me, I said, come to my office for a second, dude. I'm like, have I ever yelled at you? You just yelled at me in front of everyone. Why would you yell at me? You know?
And looking back on it, you were kind of valid. That's a great part in that song. It's
the ending is important.
Yeah, it's good that you brought that in. Was that, like, you played it live a bunch of times, I guess? Like, I've seen you do it in New Mexico, saw you do it in Toronto one time and stuff.
It's fun.
Pardon?
It's fun.
It's an amazing song. Why did you never want to do any other long songs? Is it because you don't think, because you've done one long song?
Yeah, I like 2-minute songs.
And then, well, what about 30-second songs like the Fuck the Kids 7-inch?
Well, it's true. I just, I taught the band and we recorded that whole thing in one day. Kind of came up with the lyrics on the fly, and it's cool.
And there's a bit of CanCon on there. There's a Neo's cover.
A Neo's cover,
which isn't on the CD reissue.
Well, there's 3 ships to the wind.
That's true. But why, so Neos were a big band for you as a kid?
I love the Neos.
Did you ever I guess they didn't make it to
No, they never made it to
California.
Yeah, but that was such a crazy album.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how big the Victoria punk scene was. How many bands came out of there?
Well, just the West Coast of Canada in general. And it's funny because, like, there's no...
Fucking Beyond Possession. Man, we finally made it up to Vancouver in 85, and they wouldn't let us bring our equipment over, so we lugged it in some apartment, made it over, made it to the show. Can we use your guys' equipment? Nope.
Beyond Possession?
Yeah, so we didn't get to play.
That's funny because they took the
They would
Melvins.
not let us fucking borrow their shit.
They took the Melvins on their first tour. And so it all comes back to this. I guess it's like historical beef.
It's so weird.
When bands do that?
You won't let us use your fucking amps?
Yeah. It's
What?
weird. It is weird when bands do that. And also when bands get really worked up when you ask them to use their amp and they're like acting like you're asking for a kidney or...
No, DRI was like our 10th show, and we had our drummer forgot his hi-hat. And he asked Felix. It was Felix's first show in DRI. It was in 84, before dealing with it.
Yeah.
And we asked him, can we please borrow your hi-hat? Because we have no hi-hat. He's like, nope. Fuck. So it's hard playing with that hi-hat. He's using the cabinet.
For short music for short people, did that idea at all come from the Blard comps?
No.
No? Because Spaz is on that too, right? You know the Blard comp, the Spaz comps they do.
No, it's such fun. We always had short songs.
Well, Mike, I could go on for hours more, but I want to let you get on with your night. And
Okay, nice interview.
dude, this has been awesome. And want to do part 2 one day? A couple years
Sure.
from now? Do part 2?
I love interviews where people know what they're talking about.
Well, we didn't even get into some of the stuff I wanted to get into, but we can say that for another day. Daryl, thank you so much for this.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, I'm going to put this on. You guys can check it out for a second.